The African continent, a historic victim of slavery and colonialism, continues to confront grave injustices. On average, African countries pay 4 times more for borrowing than the United States and 8 times more than the wealthiest European countries. And African countries accounts for just 4% of global greenhouse gas emissions, but it is an epicenter of climate chaos, suffering disproportionately impacts of climate change. The climate crisis is spiraling out of control. A global cost of living crisis is raging. Poverty, hunger, and inequalities are growing against the objectives of the Agenda 2030 for Sustainable Development. New technologies are raising red flags without a global architecture to deal with them. And geopolitical divides and conflicts are multiplying with profound global implications, especially the impacts from the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Excellencies, we are moving towards a multipolar world, and that is a positive thing. But multipolarity in itself is not enough to guarantee a peaceful or just global community. To be a factor of peace, equity and justice in international relations, multipolarity must be supported by strong and effective multilateral institutions. Look no further than the situation in Europe at the dawn of the last century. Europe was multipolar, but it lacked strong multilateral mechanisms, and the result was World War I. As the global community moves towards multipolarity, we desperately need, and I have been vigorously advocating for, a strengthened and reformed multilateral architecture based on the UN Charter and international law. Today's global governance structures reflect yesterday's world. They were largely created in the aftermath of World War II, when many African countries were still ruled by colonial powers and were not even at the table. And this is particularly true of the Security Council of the United Nations. For multilateral institutions to remain truly universal, they must reform to reflect today's power and economic realities, and not the power and economic realities of the post-Second World War. In the absence of such reform, fragmentation is inevitable. And we cannot afford a world with a divided global economy and financial system, with diverging strategies on technology, including artificial intelligence, and with conflicting security frameworks. The IMF estimates that such a fracture could cost 7% of global GDP, a cost that would be disproportionately borne by low-income countries, mainly in Africa. And so I've come to Johannesburg with a simple message. In a fracturing world with overwhelming crises, there is simply no alternative to cooperation. We must urgently restore trust and revigorate multilateralism for the 21st century. And this requires the courage to compromise in the reforms that are necessary for the common good.
I really do not appreciate it when people, especially powerful people like the UN Secretary General, trying to handle Africa with kids' gloves, trying to make Africa look like a baby that must be handled with a lot of care. Try to make Africa look like somebody or an entity who cannot really take care of themselves. And by so doing, they need others to be more understanding and more empathetic and more compassionate with Africa. Africa is a continent of 54, 55 countries with a population of 1.5 billion. The richest continent in the whole world with a lot of natural resources here and there. Every country in Africa has got something to offer. So Africa should rise up to the occasion. I don't like this idea when people try to victimize Africa or consider Africa as somebody that, or as an entity that is being taken advantage of by the West, and Africa is so unable to stand up. I don't like when people play this kind of victim card, or with people are with this victim mentality. Africa can always stand on their own 2 feet. The only thing lacking in Africa is the will. Africa must develop the willpower to stand on their own 2 feet. Africa must develop the willpower to understand that they cannot keep begging for appreciation. They cannot keep begging for acknowledgement from the West. The West will have to acknowledge them by what they have done so far. Do you know the reason why no one respects Africa? And like I have said it before, because Africa hasn't done anything worth respecting. And I know it might sound cruel, it might sound discouraging, but that's the truth. Ask yourself, in your community, who has ever respected a lazy person? Even in your own family, that uncle who sleeps from morning till night and does nothing but asks for food from your mom and dad, who has ever shown them any single shred of respect rather than just giving them insult? If they do not insult them in front of them, they will do that in their back. Who? No one respects a lazy person. No one respects a worthless person. No one respects someone who doesn't show strength. No one respects the weak. Now, they might have pity for you. They might have some empathy for you, but they will not respect you. Why? Because you haven't proven yourself to be someone worthy of their respect. So why should they give it to you? Remember, honor and respect is being earned, not given. If you want someone to respect you, if you want someone to appreciate you, if you want someone to acknowledge you, you must do something that will let the people understand that you are deserving of their acknowledgement, that you are deserving of their appreciation, that you are deserving of their respect. You cannot just go to summit and lash out and cry like a baby, saying that people do not respect me and I deserve my respect. You cannot just have tantrum like a kid. That won't help. People disrespect me. People are not respecting me. People don't acknowledge me. I want my own place on the table. I want to sit on the table. I want to be able to make decisions regarding myself. When you haven't really proven yourself to be someone people can trust, when you haven't really proven yourself to be someone people can rely on, when you haven't really proven yourself to be someone who have done what they said they will do. Yeah, that's just Africa. That's Africa. Africa is collecting a lot of aid from the West. Africa is collecting a lot of handouts from philanthropists. African governments are corrupt. Well, majority of them, not all, majority of them. African leaders are dictators. They come into power and they don't want to leave. So, most of them. African leaders, when they get into office of power, they make sure that they change the laws in their favor. Majority of them. African leaders, when they get into a powerful office, they start embezzling. Most of them. Leaders, when they made promises to their people on what they would do before election, and after election is done, and they've won the election, they renege on all their promises and they just do what they like to do, forgetting the fact that they made promises to the people. That is Africa for you. So with all this put together, you will come out and say, I want my own place on the table. I want to be treated fairly. I want the respect I deserve. I think I have been taken advantage of. And so I want things to be done rightly this time around. And after all this shouting and tantrum and knocking, people just look at you and they laugh. Ha, ha, ha. You have no idea about what you're talking about. We cannot even trust you with any single thing. We cannot even trust that what you said you would do, you will do. And we don't even believe that what you are saying is exactly what you are saying or what is coming from you. You might just be a puppet of someone else. So, my brothers and sisters, let's try to drive this home. Take this as a challenge. If you want anybody in your own family to respect you, to appreciate you, to acknowledge you, start doing something that is worthy of appreciation. Start showing to them, not talking, but actually showing to them, doing it and let them see it, that you are someone who does exactly what they say they will do. Try it and you'll see. So to you guys out there, what is your take on Africa not getting a fair treatment? Should respect be given or be earned? Let us know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below, because like always, we love hearing what you have to say. And also, do not forget to like this video, share this video, follow our Facebook page, and most importantly, subscribe to this channel, because little bit of good way, like the one you're doing just now, help us a lot. We shall forever be grateful to you. So thank you very much for doing just that. And like always, see you in the next one.